which was one of the areas identified, as well as the topics addressed in today and tomorrow's webinar. So today we will be engaging on the technical data sheets and product information sheets, and tomorrow we'll deal with REACH. I hope that you will find the two sessions informative and would like to invite you to engage as much as possible. ABioSA LISM have also produced a number of guideline documents that's addressing the above mentioned topics, and these will be made available to you after the webinar sessions. What I would like to hope and leave with you is really to say, as a sector, as a biotrade natural ingredients sector in South Africa or Southern Africa, what is needed for us to be able to increase confidence and compliance in our products? And for that to happen, the question would be, how do we increase our trade volumes? How do we increase also our the confidence in terms of trust for our products, and where it comes to traceability, quality, safety, consistency, and all of those areas? So that, I think, is the key areas. How can we increase our trade volumes by looking at and addressing these things that are most likely and most of the time addressed through the compliance and regulatory documentation? At this point, I'd like to hand over to Letitia, who will take us through the agenda for today's session and be presenting on the two topics. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Audrey. I just want to elaborate that today's session is on the technical and product information sheets, and tomorrow will be on cosmetics and cosmetic regulatory requirements for the EU. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. So let me know when you can see the presentation. Audrey, can you see my presentation?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. Perfect. So as mentioned, today's webinar is on technical and product data sheets. Just a quick background on LISM Systems. We were founded in 1999, and we are a global provider of environmental, health, and safety compliance software with over 20 years of experience in the chemical compliance market. We have 18 offices worldwide and a local support team with GHS, technical, and product expertise in waste, cosmetics, chemical, gas, and retail products. Our services include REACH registrations, REACH OR services, REACH volume tracking, EU poison center notifications, regulatory assessments, and EU cosmetic safety assessments. As Audrey mentioned, the main aim of this project is to provide SMEs and IPLCs with technical assistance to ensure greater sector compliance with EU regulations. As part of this project, we have compiled multiple knowledge products, which outlines good practice and regulatory requirements for multiple topics. This webinar will obviously focus on the knowledge product, technical and product data for vegetable and essential oils for EU compliance. Okay, this knowledge product will summarize the standard information found on a typical technical data sheet and product data sheet. It will also outline the physical and chemical data that you would usually find, the technical data such as the performance or the use of the oil, and the cosmetic regulatory data that should be found on a product data sheet. Okay, so to start, we will go through the technical data sheet. What is a technical data sheet? So it is a basic document that summarizes the important information of the oil or product, such as the physical chemical properties, the storage requirements, and the handling instructions to ensure that the product maintains its stability. Sometimes it is referred to as a specification sheet, but this can differ. Since there is no regulatory guideline on how to create these documents, you do find variations in them, and they can be called different things. They also include specific value or range of values that are acceptable for the product and for specific parameters, and it includes the test methods that we use to measure each parameter. Okay. So on the right-hand side, you'll see a table that outlines the different types of information. This table can also be found in the product, knowledge product itself. I've just highlighted the sections that we would be covering. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the type of information you would find. So in the first section, we have general information, such as the general identification and the general description of the product. Under general identification, you would have the family, genus, or species that of plant the oil comes from. You can also have the chemical name, the CAS number, EC number, and INCI name if it is available. Under the general description of the product, you will have the country of origin, a brief description of the composition. So is it a seed oil or is it an essential oil? A brief description of the manufacturing or extraction process, and if possible, a picture of the product. Okay, the next section highlighted is physical and chemical data and technical information. The physical and chemical data such as appearance, odor, peroxide values, density, solubility, and other important or relevant information will be shown in this section. Now, why is this important? It will allow the customers to determine if it is technically suitable for the use. The customers will use this information to also determine whether the raw material is suitable for the proposed application or formulation. It will allow them to check if the values presented are according to the regulatory compliance, according to their specific use of the product. And in addition, any additional information you have on the performance of the product, such as the application or the function, is also advised to add in the section. Okay. The next section highlighted is chemical composition. For vegetable oils, you would list the fatty acid composition, and for essential oils, you would list the components as identified by your GC or gas chromatography. It is important to also add all minor components that are hazardous or could have an adverse effect when used in or as a cosmetic product. Additional information such as the shelf life. It is important to have actually tested the shelf life and not just estimate or the shelf life. So the actual shelf life as per your test results should be also on the sheet. The typical use, such as is it for cosmetic use, personal care, or for food. The stability of the oil. Handlings, such as your storage, suitable storage containers, and PPE that should be used when handling, and the packaging and storage conditions required to maintain the stability and shelf life of the oil. That is the basic information that you will find on a technical data sheet. Again, you can have additional information depending on what's available or what you would like to add, but this is the basic information that you would find on a technical data sheet. Okay, moving on to the product data sheet. Now, what is a product data sheet? Okay, it also might be known as a product information sheet. Like I mentioned, there is no regulatory guideline on how to prepare these documents. So the type of information and what the documents are called might differ, but just to be able to identify these documents, know that it can also be called a product information sheet. And they typically include information on the identity of the product, the composition, specific test results. So if you do like microbiology or mycotoxin tests on your product, and regulatory information. Again, this table on the right-hand side can be found in the knowledge product, and each section is highlighted as we go through it. Okay, so in the beginning, as with your technical data sheet, you will have the general and identification information of your product. So in the product data sheet, you would have information on your manufacturer or your supplier. So just general information, the name of the supplier manufacturer, the address, contact details, and emergency contact information is also very important. Under general identification, you would have the identifying names, such as the trade name, chemical name, or INCI name, the chemical abstract service number, which is the CAS number, the European Community or EC number, and the REACH registration number if it is applicable. Okay. In the next section, under product information, again, you would have the country of origin, description of the product, the origin of the starting material. Now, this is very important. So you would have the common name of the plant that was used, the name of the cultivar species, genus, or the family that was used. Was it cultivated or harvested from the wild? A description of the natural habitat and the geographical distribution, and the commercial form. Is it a liquid, or is it a powder, or is it in pellets, etc. The production process. So general description on the production process. In this section, it's important also to note even the tiniest detail. I mean, detail is good. So was a solvent used? Was it a solvent extraction? Was it a cold press and filtered? Or was it a steam distillation process? And then again, do you follow GMP, which is good manufacturing practices? And then last in this section is the functions related to the cosmetic. So is it a carrier oil? Is it a solvent? Does it have moisturizing, is it a moisturizer, or is it a humectant? So what a function does it have in a cosmetic? Okay, in the next section, also very important section, is the chemical composition, additives, and unavoidable material. Okay, so you would basically just state the main components and their concentrations. So obviously not giving a specific value because each batch of oil would have different readings. So you would give a range that includes all values for your batches. The minor components that contribute to hazard classification or that could adversely affect the toxicity of a cosmetic product. Any allergens that might be present in your oil. If solvent was used, the residual solvents present in your oil, any heavy metals and pesticides, which are technically unavoidable if it's coming from nature and if pesticides were used. So even if you do not directly use pesticides, it could be coming from neighboring farms or from fertilizers that you might use, or the water even. So it is technically unavoidable, and it's always good practice to test for heavy metals and pesticides. And then any contaminants that come from byproducts, the manufacturing process, or even leach from your packaging into your oil. It's very important to take note of those. Then under additional testing, you might obviously do other testing such as mycotoxins and physical chemical testing on your product. These results can also be included into the sheet. Okay, the last section is the regulatory section, which includes your non-animal testing statement, which is very important for the cosmetic industry, your CMR, which is your carcinogens, mutagens, and reproductive toxins declaration, your GMP statement or your certification to show that you work according to good manufacturing practices, the GMO status, EU regulatory restrictions or prohibitions. So if you have any components that are restricted or prohibited that are found in your oil, you need to declare that as well. And any other regulatory compliance statements, such as safe use level. So if you've done a safety assessment on your oil, it just gives more information to your customers that you've actually tested, you've done your safety assessment, and you know that these are the limits that you can use in specific products and it would be safe. So if you have that kind of information, you can always add it in as well. And if there are any other regional regulatory information, that can be added in as well. Okay, so why are these documents so important? It clearly outlines the physical and chemical properties of the product. So when you buy something, you obviously want to know what is exactly in this product and what is it the actual function, and is it compatible to what I want to use it for? It allows the customer to assess if the product will suit their needs and requirements. All information that are required for a safety assessment is in one document. So this is very important because a lot of the time when we do safety assessments on cosmetics and we request information on raw materials, we have to source or ask multiple times for the information that can be found on a single document. So sometimes we end up having 20 documents of just statements or regulatory limits that can be found on a single document. So if you have all this information, it obviously inspires confidence in your product. So your customers know that, okay, these people actually know what they're talking about and know what they're doing. You don't expect them to request these documents all the time. It's at their fingertips. And it also appeals to the international markets. Okay, so having these documents, again, are very important. It makes your customer's life easier. It makes gives an overall good impression of your product and your company. So we advise everyone to create these documents and have this information available. Okay, if there's any questions, you can just type it in the question box or you can raise your hands. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Again, as Audrey mentioned, the knowledge products will be distributed and you can contact us at any time should you need any technical assistance as part of this project. Okay. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. It's Belinda Berry speaking. I see there's two hands up. Nosipo, you had your hand up a while already. Would you like to ask a question? Okay, I don't think Nosipo, I'm not sure. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Belinda.
Yes, Belinda.
Okay. So Nosipo is not answering. Louise, you have your hand up? Okay, Louise, are you there? Okay, so we don't have any verbal questions. I have answered the questions in the Q&A. Louise, if you have a further question. Okay, there doesn't seem to be any. Does anybody else have any further questions? As Letitia mentioned, we will, there is a knowledge product that details the exact information requirements that is available. So if you want access to the knowledge product, just let us know and we will distribute it to you. Today, we covered the technical data sheet, which is just the basic information from a technical point of view that's required. There is no regulatory reference or regulatory standard that covers a technical data sheet. It's just we recommend that you give or provide as much information as you can from a technical point of view to your clients or your potential clients. And a product information sheet or a product I don't want to say information, well, it is information sheet because I don't want to confuse the product information file, which we're covering tomorrow. That's specific for cosmetics. But a product information sheet also covers the regulatory requirements for any particular region that you're exporting to. So it's very brief documents. They're not big documents, but they're documents that contain the necessary information. And as I said, they're not regulated. So you can put as much or as little information as you want on these documents, but your customer will be asking you for a minimum amount of information. And that minimum amount of information is contained in the documents that we've produced, called the knowledge products. And that's detailed in a lot more detail in those documents. So if you want access to them, please let us know and we'll forward those documents to you. Anybody else with questions? I've got a question here. Where can we send the oils to get it tested for different values? That will also be contained in a knowledge product. Letitia, just correct me if I'm wrong. What is the name of the knowledge product that's been produced that covers that? The specific labs, both local and international labs that you can use, and the analyses that they can actually perform.
Yeah, so it's not actually a knowledge product per se, but it is our network of laboratories that we have created. It's the Excel sheets. We just not
Those will be
sure.
available. Yeah.
It is available. I'm just not sure how we are finalized on distributing it as yet. If we're going to distribute it
Audrey
as
can
is, yeah.
I think Audrey can comment on that, Audrey, because that was the next step in the process.
Yeah, I think the important thing would most likely be if we've got time either today or tomorrow, just to show the spreadsheet in order to make sure that everyone is aware how to make use of it and what the data and information is in those spreadsheets. Then I'm more than happy for us to then share that with the together with the knowledge products or the guiding documents that we'll be sharing.
There's a question about the presentation being recorded and will it be available? Yes, we'll make it available to you through a link. Anybody else? I don't see any more questions. So if you do need further information, please contact us and we'll be able to assist you directly.
Belinda, Audrey, since we have time, do you want me to just show them the lab network spreadsheet?
Yes, please.
Yes, yeah, let's do that.
It is a lot of information, so let's just go through it quickly. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So,
maybe if you can just enlarge it a little bit.
Is this okay?
That's good, thank you.
Okay. So a lot of work has been put into creating this laboratory network, as you call it. So basically what we've done is we've contacted as many laboratories, both local and international, that obviously did respond to us. And we summarized the markets that they service and the tests that they could do. And then also, again, if they are accredited or not, okay? So everything highlighted in red means that they are from an international laboratory, and everything green means that they are local. Okay, so if I scroll down, it's a lot of information. So we have the lab name, the contact person, the email address, and the contact number, and also their website. Okay, we have contact details of multiple labs, but we also have shown if they have responded to participate in this project as well. Okay, then we just have which sector that they can support, either cosmetics, REACH, CLP, or pharmaceuticals, food, and then if they have accredited or in the process of getting an accreditation or certification. Okay, so if I scroll down, you can see that we've contacted 187 laboratories. Okay. At the bottom here, we have made tabs for each lab that we have contacted, and this gives you more detailed information on the tests that they can perform and the methods that they use. So these are the appropriate methods according to EU standards, and then these are also alternate methods that they use. So again, it's a lot of information and can be a bit difficult to navigate the spreadsheet, but you can see some of them do specialized testing, some of them just do standard testing. So this is a basic overview of what our database looks like at the moment. I go back to the lab list. Yeah, so there are many labs that you can contact locally that can assist. It just depends on the type of test that you want to do. If it's very specific, and some clinical tests obviously can be done in South Africa, but some of the more specialized tests, if cannot be done here, we do have labs that can assist you internationally. Audrey, I don't know if you want me to spend more time on the lab spreadsheet, because I mean everyone would have different questions based on the information available.
Maybe just go to one or two of the tabs as well. You know, the additional tab. What is that? You know, the further information and data that's available there.
Yeah. Okay. So again, we just have the contact information that they confirmed at the top. Any comments or any communication that we've had with them that we thought that was important, we've added it in as well. Okay, where you see the X's, it means that these tests are required. So peroxide value is required for your oils. It's also required for REACH. Let's see, relative density, for example, is required for cosmetics and for REACH as well. That's what the crosses mean. And if they can do those tests for those applicable regulations or type of oil. So although it's applicable for seed and essential oils, they can only do it for essential oils. And this is ALS, the laboratory called ALS. Peroxide value, they can test for REACH, okay? And this is the method that they are using. So for Flashpoint, they unfortunately do not do this test. These are the appropriate methods as per the CLP regulation for the EU. Unfortunately, they cannot do this test, okay? They can test for optical activity in essential oils and for the REACH regulation. So that's basic overview of what it means, the sheet. And if you go down, these are the additional tests that they can perform as well. Okay. This is just another lab. It's the same functionality. It's just let me go to the confirmation sheets. It's a bit easier. Yeah, it's the same functionality. It's just it's ticked where they can assist with the testing, so they can do a lot of the antioxidant activity, anti-aging, UV protection, DNA protection. So it's very specific tests that they focus on. Okay. You can see all our labs have their own tab. Let's just do this one. Okay, again, our comments, same functionality. Let's go to the confirmation tab. Okay. Okay, so they haven't confirmed that they can do a lot of the tests. So, yeah. So this lab, chromosins, they have confirmed that they can do multiple testing. They even shared their price list. Unfortunately, this is not going to be shared with everyone because it does vary. This is just at the point of time that we got the information. But as you can see, they can do many of the tests as well. Okay. And they even state that they use an internal method. Some of the methods are according to ISO standards. So it's a lot of information that we have collected and willing to share. Do we have any questions? I just can't see the screen.
Doesn't seem to be any other questions.
Okay.
I'm looking in the chat. Sorry, I'm just, I was busy in the Q&A. There is one or two questions here. Will you please be able to send us the spreadsheets and slides in PDF format? The spreadsheet is very difficult to send in PDF format, and Audrey will need to confirm how the spreadsheet will be distributed, because the intention was to have a web link to the spreadsheets that you could just access it through there, and that the spreadsheet was continuously updated by the contributors to the spreadsheet. So that was the intention, so that the information remained current. Audrey, would you be able to comment on that?
Yes, we definitely, maybe just to mention that the ABioSA phase 1 is currently coming to a close by October. The next phase will start in November, and the intention is definitely to see how we can further support and update the data and information on the laboratories. And of course, you know that support is also provided on the quality component for laboratories that's providing quality tests by the UNIDO GQSP. So we're working in collaboration to see how can we support and increase the capacities and capabilities within the laboratories to support and assist with the tests that's required for EU requirements.
Just a question, would we be able to distribute the spreadsheets in the meantime?
Yes, definitely.
Well, okay.
What we can do is we can load all of this on the ABS website, and then send a link to everyone to access the documents, so that we don't have to share so many. You know, the size of the documents, I think, are large, as well as the knowledge products or the guiding documents. So we will provide it then through a link for you to access and download those documents. Yeah, this week still, hopefully.
Thanks, Audrey. That's great. Yeah, I think that will work, instead of having to send to individual requests. I think we'll make sure that they get the link to the website, and then from there, yeah, they can access a number of documents and links to particularly the spreadsheet and the knowledge products and these presentations as well. Okay, I don't see anybody else. Any other questions? I don't see any new questions coming through. Even if you want to ask a question in person, please go ahead. Okay, I think, Letitia, if you can maybe just mention the list of the knowledge products that will be available. I have mentioned the 2 webinars that we're doing, so those recorded links will be available, as well as the spreadsheet that we've shown everybody today. Those will be the items that will be available. Just to advise on the list of the knowledge products, please.
Yeah, sure. So we have, again, a wide range of knowledge products, starting with GLP, or good laboratory practices. This is going to be done by Hope, so not by LISM South Africa, but it is going to be like a roadmap on how to implement GMP. Then we're going to have an order of analysis. So what analysis should you do before you finalize your final cosmetic product? The flow of how you should prepare your product information file and information needed, and then obviously finalizing your formulation and marketing your product. So that is the order of analysis. Then we've done the technical and product data sheets. We have GLP, which is good laboratory practices, a brief overview of what that is, and different links to different sites to give you the regulatory background that can help you implement this. We have a REACH a knowledge product that gives you the information related to oils on REACH, the REACH regulation according to the EU. We also have CLP regulation, which outlines the basic structure of an SDS and the requirements for the EU according to the CLP regulation. We're also going to have the cosmetics knowledge product, which Belinda will go through tomorrow, the basic information that you would find or required according to the EU regulation for cosmetics. And we're going to have a FAQ knowledge product. So with all the questions we gather from our webinars and that we've encountered throughout the project, we're going to incorporate that into one FAQ knowledge product. So that's our list of knowledge products for this project. Okay. Audrey, if there's anything else you'd like me to go over?
No, I think that just maybe to mention that the GMP knowledge product has been shared. What I'll do is as part of the documentation that will be shared with all of the registered participants will be to also then just provide you with that link.
Okay. Okay. If there's no other questions or comments, then I think we can close the session and we will see everyone again tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Nosipo, I see your hand is still up. Do you still have a question, or no? Maybe you can type it in the chat or a Q&A, or you can just contact us outside of this webinar. Okay, so I'd like to just thank everyone for their time and their attention and all the questions. And we shall see, or rather meet everyone tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.